What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another installment of the Talking Dublin series. I'm your host, Dan, joined here as always by my co-host, Colin.
How's it going? Back again, it's been a while.
1 sec, I'm fixing the mic.
Oh, right.
It's falling! Everything's falling apart! Yeah, we haven't uploaded in a couple of weeks because I didn't like the one we recorded.
Which one was that?
The one on the north and...
Oh, you did. Oh, yeah, you didn't upload that yet, no?
I really didn't like it. I listened over because it was essentially just me monologuing for a lot.
I probably should have said more, but like, I didn't know enough about it.
We were also
just
like
letting you go.
I think it was on like we were recording like fucking like 11 o'clock. And we were
that was a late.
Man, tired at that stage, so it wasn't a good time. But fuck it, we're back. We're back, baby. Yeah. And now we're gonna talk about deplatforming. So, Colin, it seems deplatforming has been happening again. The right, they're being threatened at every step of the way. They're being kicked off of all the social media platforms.
The poor right down.
Soon enough, that's going to be left for the left, and then they'll be taking. First they came for the Conservatives, and I said nothing. Then they'll come for the left, and I probably will say something.
Next, Dan, you'll be next.
Yeah. So so deplatforming is going to be a constant talking point when it comes to right. Okay, air quotes. Center-left skeptic sphere.
Center-left.
Pretty much all these kind of like skeptic right-wingers is going on all like kind of social media platforms. We'll get into that in another focus.
It's genius. Just call yourself the opposite of what you are.
I'm sorry, I'm classical liberal today.
Oh yeah.
I'm classical liberal.
Yeah.
The left have the left have non-binary becomes agenda. The right have non-binary becomes political identification.
Yeah, it's like today I'm left, tomorrow I'm right.
This concept comes up when it comes from the right's perspective because currently the majority of media, social media platforms are very left-leaning, very pro-left ideology. You're okay with that, except when you're gay and trans, in which case YouTube thinks you're not suitable for general audience, come demonetized, and you can possibly be banned for look, the right do get hit a lot more when it comes to air quotes deplatforming initiatives, but the left can run into a few times, especially kind of like talking about LGBT stuff. So what's the point of this podcasting episode, I say you ask? Well, we're gonna actually I don't even know.
So, fuck it, we're gonna go on a ramble, we're gonna have a good old chat, we're gonna talk about deplatforming.
The main things to say we're actually gonna tackle is, does deplatforming actually do anything? What's the kind of effects we've seen with some of the examples I found, and what kind of effect does it have on kind of like general audience, the way to perceive the media and all that kind of stuff? And is what they're actually doing, what's claimed to be deplatforming, actually deplatforming, and also calling the fucking right a bunch of fucking hypocrites? So let's start off with the concept of whole deplatforming. So what's the whole idea of this? Well, it's essentially currently the way it's being practiced is making it so that certain forms of ideology will not be tolerated in all shapes or form. Kind of like use any way you can, use like bot flags, telling like the people who own these media sites of the type of content's being uploaded by certain individuals, using whatever way you can to make sure a person's individual to express their opinions, express their views is limited to the utmost extreme.
Well said.
So the obvious one that's always kind of brought up is when kind of you have like far left Antifa groups targeting people that they've deemed to be kind of fascist speak or right-leaning speak or Richard Spencer or anyone anything that's in line. Like if you could find someone that kind of aligns themselves towards Richard Spencer or says so very close to him, they're de facto white supremacists then at that state. So pretty much they're targeting people who are kind of pro-ethno-state, who talk about the great replacement and actually believe it, which is the PC way of saying white genocide. Don't believe that fucking shit. It's fucking nonsense.
Yeah.
Targeting those people and trying to make sure they can't have the same freedom of expressing their voice as everyone else. Trying to limit these people's ability to express their views because of how toxic and dangerous it truly is. Now, this its own kind of like, is it acceptable? Is it okay? We'll get to that later. There's some interesting stats I found when it comes to whole deplatforming. So two main examples I found here is everything surrounding about Alex Jones and his website Infowars, and some bannings that happened in Reddit on some really toxic subreddits, really bad ones. So
yeah, there's a bit of a purge there.
So we'll start off with the Alex Jones thing. So a lot of people kind of posing, usually from the right, were kind of making this point of view of like, if you ban fucking Alex Jones, you're just going to increase the support. People are going to rally behind him. He's going to be more popular than ever before, and it's going to be your fault. Yeah, that never happened.
But also, what did the left cry? You've just gone and given the right's point of view of what would happen. What was the left's point of view of what would happen if Alex Jones was deplatformed? Did they think it would completely silence him? Do they think it would know. See, you've only looked at one side, Dan.
Yeah. Since they were deplatforming, deplatforming him or wanted him to be deplatformed, I'm guessing they want him to be at a stage where to ruin him to the point where he just can't express his views anymore. Pretty much nothing happened.
Yeah.
Nothing happened at all.
Either side, but that's why it's important to kind of mention both
it's neutral.
sides.
Neutral.
Because one side obviously thinks that deplatforming is going to greatly reduce the number of radical people that follow this person or how radical their views are.
Yeah. So from some of the stats I found, it got I'll probably post these in the description if you can find them. Yeah, there might be.
No, he won't.
There might be an image here. Yeah, there won't be. I'll get no.
Maybe
there won't.
there will. No, maybe.
I have to.
We can be
I'm
optimistic.
posing actual statistics here, so I really
you
should show
have to
them.
cite your
I
sources,
have to cite statistics.
It's on record now. Not that that'll do anything.
No.
With your feckin'.
Fuck no.
I'll
God,
send
no.
you a little reminder when you're out of it.
Pretty much. So the stats I found kind of from a number of outlets is the peak visits Infowars came around 2013. Something like maybe 15 million. Okay, I'm pulling that number out of my fucking arse. I actually don't know what the peak number is, but that's like
sounds about right.
Probably nearly twice the number of like probably maybe the 40-ish million, probably a lot higher by looks at by the graphs I can remember off the top of my head. Now his views have been plummeting ever since, on a constant decline. There was another big jump probably into the 35 million visits range when Trump was elected, then back again on another decline. No, it was 20 million, around there. Pretty much another decline when Trump was elected in 2016, then up a bit at the end of 2017 up to 20 million range, and then on another decline. Pretty much the lowest he reached was probably in 2018 was probably like 12 to 13 million visits a month in Infowars. Now the banning then happened probably around August, and that saw the visit website shoot up to 20 million, but it's now back on a decline since then. So it's already gone from 20 million around like August, September to 17 million October, November, and there was no increase when he was banned off Twitter, which happened 2 months later.
Yeah, but as we were saying, like, it was already in decline.
Yeah,
so it's just following the same trend.
Yeah, so I don't. Yeah. We probably need a bit more time to get a final say in that kind of decline. But from the early examples, it looks like it's on a similar decline now, like after his banning, than it was back at kind of the start of 2018. Pretty much him being kicked off of social media did see an increase, but nowhere near to his past glories of the website, and only made it probably back up to the same levels at the start of the year, on the end of the year, and it's now currently on a decline. It's not increasing anytime soon. So it's done nothing.
Yeah, nothing either way, which is interesting.
It hasn't increased his demise. It hasn't like increased his popularity.
It hasn't revitalized him. Yeah.
I see the only thing he probably done is made Alex Jones go even more mental, since he no longer has to care anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So he's been totally demonetized off YouTube.
No, kicked off,
and also banned. Yeah. And
no,
Twitter banned as well.
He's banned.
But I'm saying some people are only demonetized.
Yeah. So he's banned off YouTube, banned off Twitter, banned off Facebook, Instagram.
Because it's an
everywhere.
Interesting point where some people are they've their monetization taken away, which they will claim in essence is the same as silencing them. But they're two different things, so I just want to clarify. So he was totally banned off Twitter, so all he has at the moment is his own site, Infowars, yeah?
And then the other example...
Sorry, banned off Facebook as well?
Facebook, Twitter, I think Instagram and YouTube.
Okay,
so all the major social media platforms is banned. There's other ones you can use, like Gab. It was a right-wing social media outlet that was kind of set up that, like, after the whole kind of Twitter purging. Yeah, it's literally just full of, like, kind of alt-right type of people. I haven't looked at it, but from what I could hear, it's like, it's not a good place.
Yeah.
Now, the other example I had is kind of like from Reddit. I don't have the year, because I don't do fucking enough research. But pretty much a couple of years back, Reddit decided to do a purge of some like extremely toxic subreddits. I have like these kind of people, like not making fun of fat people. It's like probably one of them. It's
fat shaming, wasn't it?
Fat shaming. Yeah. There's other ones like really bad place, and so they purged them. At Georgia Institute of Technology, researchers at the Georgia Institute of Technology. So the researchers at the GITS. Did a study and kind of like on this ban. So they took note of all the people that were part of the subreddits that were banned and kind of examined. Well, asked like the following questions. So the questions posed were the use of hate speech before and after the banning of the use? Kind of what was the type of stats from all that? And was there an increase of hate speech in the groups these people moved to? So the main type of answer to try and look forward to is, was there a decrease in hate speech used by the users in the banned subreddits? And did the pages they migrate to see an increase of hateful content. So what they could find was it was an 80 to 90% drop in hate speech from all the users they were looking for that stayed on the platform. Members of the banned communities left Reddit at higher rates than people from control groups. So it was common that from the users who came from the banned subreddit sites, they just moved on to similar groups. So say if pretty much they went from extreme to almost extreme.
The Donald.
Yeah.
Which
like,
is still very extreme.
Yeah, so pretty much say if there was more, pretty much like whatever was a more extreme version of the Donald, like these were mostly kind of right-winger type of people. So you're kind of moving from, say, political to fucking, is political worse than 4chan? Is poll worse than 4chan?
I don't know.
Whatever's worse than 4chan going to 4chan.
Probably not much.
Yeah, it's essentially that. Like, they're still in these toxic communities, but I guess better?
Yeah.
Sure. The worst like bumps seen from the subreddit groups that these people moved into from the banned ones, but the researchers put this down to of these members testing waters to see what exactly they can get away with, and then realizing, all right, I can't say that, but I can't say this.
Yeah.
Like 80-90% reduction doesn't mean 100% reduction.
Yeah.
So from what we could essentially see from like deplatforming is when it comes to Alex Jones, nothing really happened. It did actually have kind of, I guess, a positive aspect on Reddit. Like this is very kind of localized thing, but he saw a decrease of hate speech being used. These people still stayed within similar communities, just not as toxic communities, and people did leave at a higher rate now, from the banned one. So they probably
what
could have
I'd like
went
to know
elsewhere.
though is did they do any analysis on any other potential farms that they could have gone to? I think that's pretty important.
That wasn't done.
I think that's very important.
Yeah.
Extremely important. Because some people might have seen Reddit as
okay.
a whole as too liberal and decided, okay, that's it. If this platform is going to start deplatforming the groups that we want to be a part of and express ourselves in, they could easily just move to other platforms.
A major problem with that though is that it's easy to track usernames within an internal system. Once you go beyond that, it's going like, how can you confirm you're tracking the same type of people?
That's what I'm saying. That's why you probably can't read too
unfortunately,
much
no.
into
Well,
it.
you can only read within Reddit as a whole. So, like, whenever someone like kind of leaves Reddit, especially when it comes to these banned subreddits, you are in speculative territory. Like, they could have either just gave up on these type of platforms. They could have moved to more extreme. Like, the people could have left Reddit, could have possibly went on to say 4chan.
Some people could have been toning it down a slight bit on Reddit.
Yeah,
and could concentrate into even more extreme places elsewhere. We just don't know.
But like.
Yeah, we just don't know. It's impossible to track.
The effects of deplatforming, from what we could tell, inconclusive.
Yeah.
Either have no effect, have such little positive it's barely recognized, or because it's so complicated when it comes to all this media shit and all that, it's just not possible to see any positive, or it's just not possible without infringing on huge amount of rights to ever figure out what type of effect this has on an individual.
Yeah.
So using deplatforming probably doesn't work.
Is it useful?
I really doubt it.
Yeah, no,
I really doubt it.
Either,
so I can't see enough positive.
I don't know if I made this in the last podcast, but I feel like trying to shut people down and deplatform them is a good way of actually radicalizing them even further.
Yeah. Well,
obviously I need more data on this. Like I'm not going to try and suggest that it like it makes people more extreme necessarily, but like the more someone feels isolated and shut down and being cut off for something that they truly strongly believe in, that's got to have some sort of effect. That's got to have some sort of effect on them mentally.
Well, probably does, but
like, how could it not?
No, it's also such a complex issue we're talking about here. See, I think
I know, yeah.
So I think a lot of kind of like the right wing people and the skeptic people on YouTube are misusing deplatforming a lot of the time. Like they probably pose like kind of like YouTube demonetization. I'm pretty sure I've seen a few times deplatforming used whenever kind of conservatives being demonetized. Now we'll probably get this and upload and kind of separate thing on is demonetizing someone, silencing someone, but it's not deplatforming someone. Sure,
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
it's harder, but a lot of these conservative places have other areas of places to generate revenue. So just because fucking YouTube doesn't monetize your videos isn't a form of deplatforming. It just means that under YouTube's guidelines, advertisers, if that matter, they're not okay to essentially advertise their products in front of like certain talking points, and like to bring up one of the examples of where this happens on both sides, LGBT materials hit pretty heavily when it was a restructuring of kind of YouTube. So they too were deemed
Was that due to the false flagging though at the
No,
start? No, was that
YouTube done a restructure, I think, in 2016, 2017, or just like a few years back. But when that restructure happened, LGBT content got hit heavily with demonetization.
Was that not just down to a lot of teething problems that happened initially?
This was
like it's still happening now.
No, they fixed it.
But yeah, that's kind of my point. Then it's more that's more down to teething issues, isn't it?
Yeah.
Basically, like their algorithm or whatever.
Pretty much, yeah.
It was kind of accidental.
Yeah,
almost,
but it's more. I guess one argument going like, "Oh, it was fixed for them," but the conservatives wanted still being demonetized.
Oh yeah, okay, fair. Yeah, fair.
But I've heard one interesting argument going. I don't know. Like, see again, no one knows how these algorithms work because
we'll never know.
Yeah, because always a chance like, oh, people would cheat the system. People knew about it and all that. But I've seen a few people make the argument that where the people come from can lead to someone's demonetization.
Really?
So say someone starts off like in white supremacist content, going like ethno-state, race realism, the Great Replacement, all of that, and they start down that rabbit hole and lead up to say on a video of Sargon. Of a card, or like Dave Rubin interviewing a certain individual. Like a few people, because they've started from a point of racism. And led to these. The YouTube algorithms kind of make the conclusion where, well, if these people starting from a point of racism lead to these content, these must be racist content, because why would they ever click into them? Or why would they even
trend of the topics that they historically have talked about in their channel. So
maybe like that could be another problem too, where someone originates could lead to further content they choose like could be demonetized.
They're probably just playing like a game of chance with probabilities. It's basically like, okay, this video mightn't necessarily have any undertones, but due to all this content in the past, it's a high likelihood that it is something that can be adequately flagged.
To add more, I do know like people's bannings off of Patreon, that adds more, like that's been one of the alternative kind of revenue sources compared to YouTube. And so recently you had Sargon of Akkad, another right winger. Also like I don't think people's gonna call me out on this because we're such a fault. Like, oh, I believe Sargon.
You never know, man.
Oh, you never know. It's like, oh no, hey, Dan, don't be saying that. Sargon's a lefty. Going like bull fucking shit.
No way.
He's the man's a right winger, hardline right winger, and. Fuck, I'm getting into it.
Go for it.
I talked to Colin about this, but I'm just bringing this back in now. Now, you can claim whatever political belief you want, all that. Like, you can take, like, you can be fucking non-binary when it comes to that kind of shit.
Politically non-binary.
No, you can go on. Like, you can wake up tomorrow and say, oh, I think I'm more of a libertarian. To the next day, you're conservative. End of the week, you can become a fucking, like, social democrat or democratic socialist, whatever you want to go. But you have these people who mostly come from the skeptics faith, claim, no, I'm a lefty, I'm a centre-left, I'm a I don't even know what classical liberals.
Yeah,
what is that even meant to mean anymore?
It's nothing to do with modern-day liberalism.
Yeah, I had a feeling. But for Sargon, for instance, he claims to be a lefty. He claims to be like, he's on the left, he's liberal and all that and whatever, but he's a massive supporter of Brexit. He's done like kind of like debates with like Richard Spencer where he goes like, oh, these are interesting things you have to pose, and isn't well equipped to argue against them. I have not done enough research to argue against Spencer as well. It's like another thing I've kind of like seen that brought up, like, just because like you might be firmly in the right doesn't mean you're prepared to argue with someone. Like, I remember I've seen like from YouTubers like showing a video of a guy who kind of like who debunks creationism, and saw him kind of on the streets doing a back and forth debate because of how the video went. It made it look like the creationist like was in the right.
Really?
Because like he was better prepared for the he's better prepared because he's like, you're at least like so true and true your way to argue. But like Sargon can claim like as much as he wants he's a lefty, but like his comment section is full of people, of right wingers, alt-right type of people who hate feminism, who despise all these kind of like left-leaning ideologies. That's his fucking fan base. And like, he can do like whatever he wants and say he argues like, oh no, I'm a fucking lefty. Yeah, but if the vast majority of your fan base is coming from the position that you're meant to be against, your opposition, or points of view that you claim to hate and firmly against, you need to rethink the way you're organising your fucking debates.
But one more thing as well, wasn't he trying to join UKIP?
He has.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Oh no, he's pro-Brexit.
Yeah, so how can you claim to be centre left?
Oh yeah,
it's not possible.
Yeah,
it's not possible.
It's going like Brexit doesn't work when it comes to
but
left.
UKIP are absolutely nowhere near left.
Yeah.
They're not even anywhere near centre.
The other thing you can tell, like, because he firmly goes after feminist ideology, like going from like the low hanging fruit of like kind of these like feminazi type of people and all that. The fact he focused so much of attacking easy targets that can easily be seen as outliers of this group, that he's constantly attacking leftist ideology, it's very hard to see him go out and claim like, I'm actually a lefty, don't worry.
That's what the centre-left fucking bit is there
like,
for that.
take our fucking back and forth conversation. Like, say if like we fucking slag off the British every day, like every day.
Yeah,
when it comes to this.
every single.
But
day.
if our fucking comment section was full of people being like actually hating English people, like just straight up hating the English, I'd have to rethink the way I'm expressing because it's meant to be a joking tone. Like I joke about the IRA every now and again, but if I had like legitimate RA supporters commenting,
now hold on though. Have you seen Channel 4's Brexit videos?
No.
Right? Very simple, basic videos. They don't step their foot in it either side. They give you the fact. Comment section is full of either racist English or racist Irish. Do you really think, right, that just because you can go to a comment section and find extreme, like people who genuinely have hatred towards the British, do you think that's your responsibility, or do you think that these people can latch on to a comment section as a platform, even if there was actually like a video on, let's say, the positives of Brexit, and your comment section was full of like how can you be either, let's say, responsible or adapt what you say due to how other people can latch onto your platform?
Well, it also depends on the type of injury. Like when it comes to Channel 4, this is a media organisation who just uploads stuff on YouTube as an afterthought. It's just here's some content, people look on it. When it comes to, say, YouTubers, this is very personality driven. So people kind of, they latch on for what they want to display, but I follow certain political YouTubers because I align with their political leaning and also the type of commentary they're willing to give on certain topics. You know, say like when it comes to, like, to Skeptic Sphere and like those type of people, they latch on because of like they like the individual, they like the point of view they show, and they like the fact that they're covering certain forms of content. You know, say for Sargon, for example, we keep focusing on. If he keeps on going,
I was kind of using you as an example when you said you'd actually rethink what you were saying if you were like, would you go that far, or would you say like?
This is definitely for us. It's kind of like it's more kind of personality based because it's fucking YouTube. And we're just two lads talking out of a fucking bedroom.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But like if I see again, like
I just feel like you'll find these people in any comment section on the platform, regardless.
A good one that like I can properly argue that, like, people say that were full in the comments that were firmly like 100% for bombing the North again, restarting the Troubles campaign, and like getting rid of the British by any means, even if they have to kill every last one of them.
Yeah.
I'd have to firmly like look back at the way I talk about the Troubles, the way I talk about the IRA when it comes to that. If those are the type of people that congregate to my type of videos that were okay until
anything with a hashtag Brexit in it on YouTube will attract those type of people. Guaranteed. We can look right now. I'm guaranteeing you, we can look right now. We can go on the most harmless, like just informed, even videos of like, let's say, just American info channels, like, oh, what is Brexit? Like dumbed down, like infographic. You'll find these types of people congregate to anything that covers it could be pro-Brexit side, anti-Brexit side, no matter what side it is, anything to do with the topic of Ireland and the UK relations, for example, you're going to attract a certain amount of these people, regardless. That's like, I can look at any YouTube video now, no matter how tame it is, and find people who are showing extremely racist comments from an Irish person towards the British, or vice versa.
Yeah, I can understand
genuinely.
Yeah.
Like,
though I think
like, you can denounce that, obviously, and say on your, like, I absolutely understand. You can say on your platform, like, I absolutely do not support this type of... But do you honestly think, like, they're not being radicalized because of you?
No.
They've had that... If someone goes, I genuinely want to restart the Troubles, they have not got to that position by watching your video, making a joke about someone that's...
I can understand that, but it's more of... When you say... It's more kind of like when it comes to these Skeptic Sphere type of people where they claim to be on the left, but 90% of their fucking audience are right-wing.
That's hypocrisy,
right.
yeah. That's just hypocrisy. That's them pretending to align with a certain ideology that they don't align with, yeah.
Yeah, I think bringing myself into this was probably not the best example to give.
No, it's a good example that would you change how you create content, regardless of, like, views or whatever. Would you change the content you make because of certain people that may have a voice on your platform? That's what I was getting at. It's not really anything else other than that. It's kind of like a matter of principle. Like, do we hold the content creators accountable?
Okay, it firmly depends on what type of content you like. Look, it's a case by case basis every time. Like, Brexit is its own fucking minefield, so no matter how
Yeah.
careful you're trying to
that's
be,
what I'm saying, yeah.
you're going to attract the wrong type. You're going to attract the wrong type
So
of
there's a few
individuals.
conspiracy theorists who have commented in a few of these
Yeah,
videos. Like, it's like some of them are
hilarious.
mad
Like,
altogether. So
I would take like Irish history. Like I go into massive in depth, and I'd be like in the type of territory where there wasn't an Irish famine, it was Irish genocide type of thing.
yeah.
And having those sort of views going to like attract this like certain types of like, oh, stop hating the English and all that kind of stuff, where I'm just literally stating historical facts, like,
Yeah.
this did happen.
So don't you find that's a problem, that we might have to curtail what we say, even if it's historically accurate,
Yeah.
in order to just not...
No, but I know, again, see, it's a case-by-case basis. Like,
Yeah,
okay, I can only talk from Irish history because it's the one I know so much. I will never change the way I talk from Irish history, because I firmly believe I have fact on my side.
Exactly,
I can't deny that.
Yeah, exactly. Now,
But
that's what extremists on the right believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, not to criticize you.
I know,
I'd say,
we say,
what I find a problem with deplatforming is it's like two sides genuinely think they're in the right,
Yeah, they're there firm.
and one organization can shut down certain things on both sides.
Yeah.
At will, just when it goes against their like commonly held ideologies. It can be a problem, like trying to that's an issue with deplatforming. It can be a problem, like the structure you put in place to carry out deplatforming.
Yeah.
You can maybe argue that some people need to be deplatformed, even then it's
again, like,
difficult to make that argument.
I guess it's going to be, you say, like, a problem the internet has caused then is, how do you then create an atmosphere where certain forms of ideology shouldn't be tolerated? Like, these are the obvious ones, obviously, like, say, like, fucking, like, neo-Nazis and all that. Like, how do we deal with people that want to, like, who were white supremacists, who want to essentially, like, want to end those states and all that before, like, the age of the internet? We essentially created a social atmosphere that had had zero tolerance to these forms of ideology, that it was essentially socially shunned to the point where they could not express their opinions in public and had to keep them, like, behind closed doors. That doesn't.
But that's actually a really good point, because do you remember? Sorry don't want to go too much on tangent, but you know, Dark Tourist, where they went to South Africa.
Yeah.
That was mad. Like, there was a community of white South Africans,
who were convinced that they were going to be killed.
Yeah,
their unity, within a day.
Their unity was feeling marginalized and cut off from society because of their ideologies and beliefs. They were very extremist beliefs.
Yeah, they
very extremist.
This kind of brings up the view then: should we allow extremist thought to be broadcast on the internet? Where, like, no one would tolerate someone going around, like, say, the streets of Dublin, if fucking shouting Sieg Heil and, like, giving the Hitler salute. The man's probably going to be beaten.
Someone would just beat the shit.
Oh yeah, like, he's going to be beaten to near death, essentially. If he done those kind of things.
But as you said, like, what happens then when no one can necessarily control that when you're on the internet.
But it also brings up, say, media theories is going, like, well, people bring up, like, the Arab go, oh no, we're intellectual people, we can figure stuff out for ourselves and all
we're
that.
rational people.
Yeah, we're rational individuals going, like,
in the real world.
Yeah, no, it's going, like,
we're highly irrational.
Beforehand, I'm going, like, look, we give someone enough time, enough resources, we can make our own decision for ourselves. Now I was like, people are fucking idiots.
People are stupid.
We are so stupid.
There's
half
so many
the
people
time.
that are so stupid.
The fact that we have some racist ideologies actually on the rise currently nearly shows how ignorant people are to reality itself, or will gladly accept racist dogma so they can protect some false reality they created for themselves, or want to do other things. Like, we're stupid all the time. The fact that Richard Spencer can get so much support, the fact that Charlottesville
they voted for Brexit. That's
voted
the easiest
for Trump.
example. And Trump, well, that's even
okay. No, Brexit is more obvious.
Just like, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah. It's
unequivocally stupid.
Yeah. So then it comes to the point: should we silence certain forms of ideology because of how dangerous it is for for society?
If we do, will we create extremist pockets like we see happen in like neo-Nazis in America, old sort of Confederate worshippers, like Westboro Baptist Church, the South African ethno-nationalists. Like, I don't know.
Like, how do you combat this, essentially?
Can we?
I don't think it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I
well,
just don't know how to do it.
You take all these right claim, you have like all these right wingers say claim like, oh, these social media outlets are trying to silence conservatism and burn it out. Well, in that case, they're doing a horrible job since right wing thought is currently on the rise in Western society.
But it is quite stupid that they're being empowered. One of the most empowering things for any group that can, like, if you have a group of people that feel marginalized and they associate with each other and become united due to them being marginalized, whatever it's for, that's a really empowering thing to happen to any group of people. Like, it's what happens often in wartime, like back in World War I, World War II, where you're fighting against the communists or the fucking fascists or whatever, like, to kind of unite. Like, even in North Korea, how they can kind of rally their people around this common enemy, the American enemy. It's a really powerful thing where you create this enemy that is against what you believe, and you're together in unity that you are being oppressed or silent. This is how they view it. So it's a really dangerous thing where when you try and start to silence these people, does it increase their radicalization? I don't know. Like, I don't think we've the data to suggest that.
I don't think we ever can.
But and I'm not sure we can. But
from the current,
but I just feel like in terms of human psychology, that's just really kind of, that stands out to me. Like,
we're also getting into the area going, if you provided someone with all the factual information, essentially sits them down going, we're going to properly talk this through, can you actually change their mind and make them see it light?
I've actually come to this conclusion, especially over the last week or two, where I've looked at so many discussions where you can, like, the other day I looked at a discussion on it was on Destiny's channel. We can cut this bit out if you want. It was on Destiny's channel, Twitch channel, and he was what's the thing? Is it called I forget. You might have seen one of the videos where he was debating, was it Ian Chong or something? Did you see that one?
I don't think so.
Was that his name? One of the recent ones. But it's this show, and I think they're right-leaning, but they've invited Destiny on before. They actually kind of like him, even though
cool.
Which is good. But they were all sort of debating this. He said he had a divine vision from God, and he's now an American evangelical. So he actually is a pastor, though, and he's basically trying to convince. But anyway, so there was this whole long discussion about, trying to really logically and rationally, and you'd like Destiny and all these other kind of rational human beings, you'd physicists, you'd just everyone, it's just not going to happen. They couldn't do it. They were trying to be rational and logical, but then he'd say something like science is not in the framework of, logic is not bound by the framework of, it's not possible.
Actually, I'll give you one great example I heard, like from the Science Verse from Gimlet Media, and he was doing an episode kind of like anti-vaccinations now and how complete nonsense it is, but they found a mother that hasn't vaccinated her kids, is firm going, I don't want them to have autism, don't have to do anything like that, and they got over the information, and they even like showed her some of the diseases these vaccines prevent. And like they're horrifying stuff, like these are horrible things like for anyone to have. But even after you saw, like, the mother seemed like going like, no, I still think I'm in the right and still do it now. And going like, when you like what you do at that stage, you've given them all the information physically can. You've even showed them the type of diseases that your kids are now can possibly give, and then also give to other people because of this. And this mother still won't give her kids vaccinations. But it's happened
before with parents who have had children die due to not having them vaccinated, and then have continued to hold firm to the belief that vaccinations are inherently evil. So how, like, you see, this is the problem, because people are not rational. This is like one of the founding principles of the free market and of modern society, that people are rational.
If I was a rational person, I wouldn't want the North back.
The 32.
But I want my 32 counties, and it's completely irrational to actually want that.
People can hold ideologies or personal beliefs over any form of rational or logical thought, and in that instance, you can't use rationality or logic to argue against them. They haven't really reasoned themselves into a position, but they hold a belief or an ideology that you will not be able to get them out of, no matter how much evidence, no matter how many factual, how many even anecdotal evidence. There's nothing that can convince some people out of it. What can be the cause of that? Of people rejecting,
pretty much, of people getting into a state of mind where, a state of mind where no matter how much factual, rational information, they will keep to a rational standpoint.
It's fascinating.
Take all these right wingers, these alt-right people that are like they want fucking an ethno state in America, that think the fucking white genocide is happening in Europe.
Yeah.
Like, how do they get to that stage in the first place? And they're firmly in the camp where they'll never change their mind.
It's fascinating. Yeah, it's people. To get in a state, you have to hold a belief or an ideology above logical thought. Humans don't tend to be particularly logical or rational, or at least not all the time. Like, if, for example, like, even I don't know if this is a great example, but just for certain religious people, like in this religious debate even the other day, like sometimes the need to feel like you fit in with something, or even maybe the idea that you can see loved ones in heaven when you pass away, something like that will always be more powerful to people.
Yeah.
Than they don't want the truth necessarily.
In fact, that form of thinking is the only reason why I won't call myself an atheist.
Yeah,
because I want to hang on to that so much.
And a lot of people do, and it's easier to be able to hold a belief or an ideology than to actually sit down and be introspective and say, let's actually critically evaluate all of the beliefs I hold logically and rationally. A lot of it, like, that's hard for people to do in general. It's not easy. So I find it's much easier to latch on to a certain belief or certain ideology, and even when someone comes at you with the facts, with the evidence, with logical rational thought as to why that's wrong, people have just got themselves into this mindset where that's not the most important thing. Their belief is the most important thing to them.
Could you pose and say, for the whole deplatforming argument, that one way to use it is to essentially stop the damage it's current, like certain forms of ideology is causing, like, in fact, because the way you think, it doesn't matter if you deplatform every neo-Nazi today. Yeah, there's still going to be fucking neo-Nazis out there. But take like fucking Richard Spencer. Yeah, he understands enough to win people onto his side. He understands like debates and what type of irrational thinking he needs to focus on to win people over to his own arguments. Yeah, if not, then he wouldn't have actually had people actually backing him up and like following him. Well, there's essentially
but I think this is important. You'd have to look at then the difference in, are people necessarily converted when they watch these videos, or have they sought out those videos because they hold that ideology in the first place? Yeah, that's the really important. It's such a difficult thing to talk about, because you could like argue that really the reason people latch onto these types of content in the first place is because they hold that ideology prior.
Well, for this to only work then is that people are converted, not because they hold this prior. So for this example, we'll take that people converted to ideology, not that they just have this, they just don't know what to call it yet. Yeah. So an example that in people are converted to a way of thinking, would it be then okay to ban certain forms of hateful speech in the saying that we're going to make sure to limit the amount of conversion happening around this general population?
Yeah, I think hypothetically, yes, in a vacuum.
Very and that's hypothetical.
And I think that's why a lot of people are in favour of deplatforming, because they come from a very hypothetical, vacuous point of view that, in theory, if we could ban all knowledge of like, pick any topic like anti-vax or whatever, if we could ban every single bit of material that casts any fear or doubt about vaccinations, so no one would even kind of be able to access this information, in theory you could probably say then yes, that would be maybe reasonable to suggest that would reduce the numbers of people that are radicalized into taking an anti-vax point of view. But in the real world, pragmatically, it's absolutely impossible to ban all forms of...
Oh yeah, definitely.
And as I kind of said earlier, what happens when you tend to marginalize people in certain circumstances is you'll get people who will form more concentrated, more extreme groups. The overall numbers might go down.
Well, that's human history every time.
Yeah.
Like you go to any form of minority group that was like marginalized, or any form of, say, colonial power that was like oppressed, you see examples of rebellion, examples of kind of like of rebellious attitude, of small secretive groups being formed to find either to help the local population or to revolt against the oppressors. So
absolutely.
Again, using the Irish context, it's the one I know so much. The Irish Republican Brotherhood was first set up as kind of like one of the last Irish rebellion cells ever set up, like to properly think of a ways like, how do we finally get this done? How do we finally rebel against British colonialism and firmly get independence? Because of oppressive rule, because of colonial power, secret organizations were formed to organize an Irish rebellion.
I think it's human psychology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. And like, and again, to say if this type of thought like gets thrown out, except for fucking every conservative and every skeptic out there keeps proclaiming that these massive social media platforms are targeting conservative thought.
Yeah.
And once you hear this enough times, you can just accept it as actual truth.
Yeah.
We don't know. Maybe it is. But
maybe it is. Maybe
you can't 100% say that conservative target is target. Now there's there's definitely enough data to show a correlation of sorts.
Yeah.
But that's all we have.
It could be due to other
but that's all we have. All we have is a correlation. We don't have proper causation yet.
It's actually really interesting. There needs to be a lot more study done on this type of thing because there's not a lot out there. By the looks of it, I've tried to look for.
Well, I say because they say it doesn't want to be done.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like, or say they take the left, they just don't like when it comes to say ethno states and stuff like that. That type of ideology just should not exist. It's going like it's extremely toxic and extremely deadly.
Yeah.
Now, understanding why people convert to this is vital research. To
understanding what they truly believe,
Yeah.
rather than just being able to say, "Oh, they're just automatically racist. They're idiots. They're fucking idiots." Although I do think they're fucking idiots. But anyway,
I think we have like enough information. I say when it comes to that, like
enough information to
human history gives us enough information when it comes to this. Like it's like recently, if you want to take some of the firm left extremes, you have essentially we are moving away of a society that is male focus, like completely. It's not the 1920s anymore. It isn't the nuclear family, the American nuclear family.
American dream.
Yeah, it doesn't exist. Like it's no longer a stage where the wife stays at home, minds the kids, and keeps the house clean, and the husband goes out, is the breadwinner, brings in like the paycheck, like
brings home the bacon. Yeah.
Social dynamics have completely changed. Now it's like it's meant to be equal opportunities for everyone, no matter your skin color, your creed, your background, your ethnicity. Everyone is meant to have equal opportunities in Western society now. Both men and women can like go out to any job, get paid. They're meant to be paid the same amounts, like at all stages, and it's meant to be reversed. Now it's perfectly acceptable for the man to stay at home, mind the kids, and the woman to go out and bring home the paychecks. And we're seeing a dynamic now completely change of male focus to that's meant to be equal opportunity.
Yeah.
But by equal, but I'm trying to get this right without sounding like a crackpot.
Well, say it first, and then you can say it whatever way you want first.
By moving it down from equal opportunity, you can't technically make the argument, if you're one of these outright conservatives, that men are losing their dominance in society. They're losing their opportunities in massive quotation marks, because like if you posed like this as a zero-sum game, men must lose advantages than to give these minority groups and women extra advantages.
Yeah.
Like again, posing as a zero-sum game.
Now, were those advantages earned? No.
Yeah. What?
No.
Say again?
Were those advantages earned? Like, what you're saying is basically the fact that there's more equal opportunity now for women means that if it's a zero-sum game, technically there's less opportunity for men.
Yeah.
Technically. But you have to look at then, well, was that opportunity deserved just because you're a man? And the answer is no.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're entitled to that opportunity.
But, exactly. Yeah. But again...
But you're getting from more where they're coming from.
Like, take if you say come from conservative mindset for America, or to take from a certain mindset where I say like, oh, you've would actually take up like say our generations growing up, say we're born in the early 90s or mid 90s. You send to like you maybe grown up on older media that's probably has a predominantly male focus. You've kind of grown up on it's showing like, oh, there's massive opportunities ahead of you, massive and all this. But during our time frame when we kind of went from being kids to adult, there was more bigger pushes in social change, more bigger pushes, like we need proper representation when it comes to everything. We need further pushes for women and minorities in the workforce. We need further pushes when it comes to representation in the media. Like now, like in times frame we've been alive, there's now more countries that accept homosexuality is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Gay marriage is now it's like the amount of nations constantly on the rise, and hopefully in no time.
Yeah.
No, first
public
one too, by popular vote.
That's what I said. That's what I said.
Yeah,
that is what I said. Yeah.
We're currently also now tackling trans issues and trying to get to a stage where trans people don't have to worry about being essentially prosecuted or like attacked because of their identity, or being banned from a bathroom because of their birth gender and all that. Like it's constantly moving into a leftist direction. And I've completely missed the point of why I was making this argument. It's more trying to kind of take the argument, like, because there's been like so much more pushes for women and minority groups to kind of be more active, be more be more independent, take more like agency of yourself, and go out there and actually do something. And it's also more celebrated and all that. Like women minority groups, they have more celebrated, they have dedicated days, dedicated months, and all that kind of thing. And I say eventually you have like very small subsects of, and again, like this is also mostly white men who are in these conservative groups. This is like nearly specifically a white male environment. You say these small subsects have kind of broken off, going like, where's my celebration? Where's my push? Where's my like kind of enjoyment? Going like, why shouldn't I be proud of being kind of
like
a
middle
white
child syndrome.
Yeah,
it's actually a bit like middle child
like
syndrome.
you've had like,
it's like the little kid is getting all the attention and getting all the kind of praise, and you're kind of just standing there like, what about me?
I can understand how subsects of men today, white men to be exact, can nearly feel like they've become a marginalized group, because society firmly is in the point where like we need to celebrate women, celebrate minorities, celebrate all this.
Yeah.
And then you have the white guy going out, what about me? It's like, shut the fuck up. You are human history. Hit the sidelines for once.
Yeah. It's like when I was saying earlier, kind of like, just to clarify, like when I'm saying like people will feel marginalized or oppressed, I'm not for one second saying white men are oppressed. I am absolutely not saying that.
You can feel this when it's not happening.
I'm just kind of trying to say like they feel in their minds that they're oppressed and marginalized. Now that feeling could be completely misguided or have no basis in reality, but that's genuinely how these people feel. They do feel like they're being marginalized, and that's maybe what causes them to be able to identify with like a powerful unifying factor and feel empowered by to be against that establishment.
Well, take like when you say like the alt-right and these white supremacist groups, they come around saying like, yeah, you should be proud to be white, you should be proud to be a male. They're just plotting against you. Like when you be thinking this for so long, when you think like the white male's a new marginalized group, and someone overhead comes around going like, yeah, you're right, you're gonna join them, you're gonna radicalize, where there's no foundation on that type of knowledge whatsoever.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could nearly see this. Someone must have saw this coming from the long hair, like 50 years down the line, going like, oh, we need to like promote all these like minority groups and women and like everyone, and promote them to the order. And someone was going like, yes, we should be doing this. And they just write down going like, there's a slight chance that the current majority is not gonna like this and perceive them to be a new minority.
I think that's one of the things. Well, a lot of people don't like the term feminism. Like, it would have been maybe a smarter choice to go along the lines of egalitarianism, where you're really focusing on just looking at what's wrong in society.
You mean,
and
now, right? Because like back in the 20s and 30s, I think feminism, you needed that. That was fighting for the vote and equal representation. That was actually like basic stuff they did not have.
Really basic stuff. A modern day feminism. I think. I guess though, and to try and like understand their mindset. Their mindset is women have been oppressed for so long that there's no point in focusing on men and women in equal measures, because there's more ground to be made up for women. So in their mind, obviously, it makes sense to focus on the areas that they deem that are the most necessary for social change. So I understand all sides, but it's easy to see how people can feel marginalized and become radicalized because of it.
Which is unfortunate.
And then it goes back to things like, well, how do you actually prevent this?
Like how to, like, you can't just go to every minority group going like, can you stop gaining freedom so we don't have violence? Like, no, that's fucking ridiculous. You can't they need to have their equal representation, because they're people, and last time I checked, human rights is meant to be for all humans. Not just an asterisk going like, only apply to the white guys.
Only the white men.
It doesn't work like that. But unfortunately, you have to say, it's going like, alright, well, we can't change how society's going, but we still need to have ask the actual question. Look, we have subsects being radicalized. We have white men being radicalized in certain subsects. Going like, well, we need to find a way to combat this until like, now this is like fucking conspiracy tinfoil hat scenario, but what if it actually hits to a horrible extreme and then it becomes violent, becomes very dangerous?
It's fun, like, you push these people, the more you back them into a corner, and it's like backing a rabid dog into a corner.
What do you meant to fucking do?
I don't know, and I the only thing I've kind of concluded at the moment is like, I don't think going being out to get people and to try and silence them and to shut them down, I don't think that's the way to do it. That's the only thing I think I've come to as of now. I genuinely think there can be more harm done by constantly telling these people they're wrong, they're outcasts, they need to be silenced, shutting them down, deplatforming them, taking away their voice, not making them feel like a complete outsider. Because I think that is how you can radicalize people. So the only thing I think, the only conclusion I might have come to as of now is I don't think that is necessarily the way to go about it. I don't know how. Is it to kind of, and this sounds bad, right? This sounds bad, right? But like to kind of approach it with a sense of understand, like try to understand where they're actually coming from. Now the problem is some of these views are so batshit insane and radical and ridiculous that you don't necessarily want to give them the time of day.
Or they're in the realm where they should never be tolerated.
Yeah, exactly. No, I don't mean tolerance. For 1 second. No, I mean, people instead of going like, "Oh, these feckin' ethnostate, why they're a bunch of feckin' racist lunatics," right? But whereas some of them might actually not be as extreme as you think, there might be some underlying issues that causes them to identify.
That's the problem. Like, once you get the ethnostate, white genocide,
once you get to the extremes, it's like holy shit.
Going how can you ever relate to that? To even try
to not relate.
No, I mean try to understand where they're coming from.
I think we need to understand. You kind of almost need to hear them to try and understand their reasoning for being in a mindset like that, and that's the only way you can dissect that mindset and try and understand, use human psychology, try and understand why these people think the way they think, and then work on how to maybe change the society so we don't have as much of a problem with these radicals potentially. How are we ever going to shut that down if we just blanket term them as like racist lunatics? We actually have no idea. A lot of people, if you ask like what an ethnosator thinks or believes, and then listen to one talk for an hour, it could be vastly different. The intricacies of what they believe could be quite different. So I don't know. I'm not sure shutting people, even though that sounds like
to take this from the other perspective, like take from like LGBT groups and minority groups, like giving them freedoms, which is important. Yeah, that is great, one thing, but just because it's okay for two men to marry, two women to marry in Irish society, it doesn't eradicate any form of homophobia in the Irish state.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it's kind of like from the other perspective and not nearly sound like we're sympathising with
the I know. Yeah, we are not sympathising. No, not for 1 second.
Yeah, but bringing freedoms to marginalised group doesn't just stop the oppression they feel or just stop any racist rhetoric they have to deal with.
Yeah.
Like no form of advantages toward like giving freedoms to homosexual people doesn't just stop any racism or any homophobia they deal with on a daily basis. You need to interact with people on a more personal level and kind of like to show like these are people, individuals. They like just like but that guy wants to have sex with another man. It's like
but he's just a normal man.
Yeah,
but he wants to bang another man.
Yeah,
it's like it's not a big deal.
Look, it's fine. Like so what? He just likes up the arse.
Yeah, it's like it's it's not
to try and like to stop people being radicals and to also make people more accepting of these minority groups. You need to understand where this kind of mindset comes from.
Yeah,
and from there you can at least try and find a way to connect with these people and
exactly,
get them to the level where society won't shun them out of existence, actually accept them in.
Yeah, exactly.
That was deplatforming.
There we go.
That last bit wasn't deplatforming. To kind of round off this, I guess it was a deplatforming discussion and all that. We also need to recognise that some people cannot be saved. Take Richard Spence for instance. There is no chance he will ever come over from the left hand side. He's a full-on white supremacist outrider and will not rest until he gets his ethno-state type of thing. And I am firmly willing to recognise that when it comes to ideology, when it comes to racist rhetoric and all that, some people just cannot, there's no chance in hell to ever make them see the error of their ways. The thing I say that has to be done is to identify the people that are completely lost and find the people that there's actually a chance to actually win back over, going like, look,
exactly, yeah,
you may have problems, but the way you're going just isn't going to end well. So let's hopefully try and like get them into a point where fucking I don't like, we don't even have to get these people fucking like just marching down LGBT crowds or like fucking going like, what, open borders, bring all the immigrants. Just get to a stage where they
tolerance, basic tolerance. Come
on, like tolerance, and like just get to a stage going like, here, look, you might be a big fan of immigration, but they're not gonna kill you. They're not gonna fucking come in and pillage your town.
They'll drive into you with trucks. They're gonna knife you. They're gonna like, fuck's sake. You can't. Well, you can't ration.
Well, I hope everyone enjoyed these the wonderful ramblings here on this fucking channel. It's probably the last one for the year.
Is it?
For 2018. Well, I don't plan. I've got a few ideas.
This will be going up like mid.
Probably next week.
Mid.
Probably next week. I've got a few things I wanted to kind of work on for like over Christmas. So
Stay tuned.
Everyone enjoy like the end of 2018. Hopefully 2019 isn't. Who's king 2019? It's just gonna be just as bad.
We'll know about the Brexit deal.
Oh dear God!
Yeah, actually, no, feck it. No. What are you saying? This is going to be our last video of the year? No, we're going to have to do one on that.
This is gonna be the last day we're recording.
No, we're going to have to do something on the Brexit. That's happening in a few days.
I'm gonna do this stuff. Fuck yeah.
yeah, that's happening in a few days. The vote's going through Parliament, isn't it?
Jeez, man, why can't the news just stop for one day?
It's relentless, man.
Well, thanks again for everyone for listening. I hope you enjoyed it.
I'm sure you have.
We'll talk to you next time.
See you soon.